Welcome back to Wizard Supercoach, and it's very good to be back after the long break, or it feels like it was a long break. Definitely needed for me. I got very jaded towards the end of last season. A bit of frustration towards the AFL, I guess, but also just the game itself. It just feels like sometimes Supercoach is out to get you, but there's nothing you can do about it, and we always come back for more. So, yeah, I thought I'd start this pre-season first video, just do the team picker thing like everyone else, and then after that I'll start releasing those, I guess you'd call them research videos again, which is probably my strength, I think, as a player, and it's what I enjoy doing the most, probably more than the actual in-season stuff. So I'll get to those, and probably might even do some review videos, because I've noticed, just having a quick look through the stuff that I did last pre-season, that it was able to predict some of the things that ended up happening. So yeah, it's interesting to see, because we can kind of apply that to what's going to come up. But yeah, I won't get too far into any of that today. I'll just do the team picker thing, and keep in mind, like, the reason why this is a few days after the picker even came out is because I haven't been happy with any team that I've put together so far, and I've not really done much research at all. So yeah, this is just very, very tentative, and no doubt will change at least 3 million times between now and round one. So I'll get into it from the back, as is tradition. So this will probably surprise no one. First picked in the back is Naz. So I know he's got the buy and stuff, but you know, you pay for what you get. He's definitely elite now, and yeah, I think he's going to continue to score well. He doesn't seem to be easy to tag. So you know, you got the whole St Kilda team trying to give him the ball. It's hard to go past. So yeah, he's first picked for now. Second pick, another very popular one, Connor Rosey. Port have a really easy fixture to start with, and I think he's just going to be a pig off the halfback again. Josh Carr coach now, and he was the guy. This is what I heard, is that it was his idea originally to put Rosey at halfback. So I don't expect him to move from there. Can already see that a lot of the backlines in these team picker videos from various YouTubers, they're quite similar, and so this is the first one where I'm going to go a bit different, and we're going to go all the way down. Now this is dependent on a lot of things, and again, it's only early, so quite possibly will change. But where is he? Okay, so if McGrath stays in the midfield as he did in the final 5 games of last year, and I know Parrish and stuff is back, so again, this is just a watch, but if McGrath is in the midfield, and he's now captain as well, so you know, there's that extra responsibility and hopefully an uptick in form, which sometimes happens with guys when they become captain. I'll be picking him, because over those 5 games to end the year, he went 110. So yeah, if he's in the midfield, it's going to be good. I know that he's got accuracy issues and stuff like that, but you know, he did average 110. So for whatever reason, it's hard to argue with that. So you know, he's priced at 84 here. So that's a lot of value right there. But again, a lot of wait and see on that one. And then D4, so another popular one, obviously McKercher. Don't have to explain too much about why. Everyone's got him, so, or for now. And then we come to some rookies, so I won't spend too much time on them, but Lindsay from West Coast, where is he? So supposedly he's an elite ball user off the halfback. So it makes sense that West Coast should just chuck him straight in there. Especially if McCarthy is going to spend more time in the midfield, you'd think. Then it definitely opens up a spot, or the spot that he had. Maybe they put Marich back there, but I don't know. I think I'd be going with Lindsay, because, you know, Marich is kind of, if he's not playing that seagull role, he doesn't really do much, I think. He's probably not going to improve the team. So hopefully Lindsay gets it. But again, it's just rookies, so you know, placeholders for now. A lot's going to change. And yeah, this one, hopefully his body can hold up, but we say it every year. If it does, we know he can score, but who knows? We'll see how he goes through the rest of the pre-season. So Gibcus, and this one I don't know a hell of a lot about, but again, placeholder. He's got DPP, so Fincher from St Kilda. I've heard that he's a good shot to get early games and stuff, but we'll see. St Kilda look like they've improved their list a fair bit. But yeah, you never know with Ross the Boss, and there's no sub obviously, so I feel like you can take definitely more of a punt with these rookies now. Final spot in the defence. So Sarong, he got traded to Sydney, so obviously you would think that they intend to play him if they've bothered to trade for him. Rampy's getting on, and I think McCartan's good, but Melican at times can leave him a bit vulnerable. So yeah, Sarong being that kind of key defender, I can see him getting some games, but again with the rookies, it's placeholders and stuff, so I wouldn't put too much time into it. I'll skip straight to the rucks, I think. So this one's just set and forget. Gawn and Cherry. I'm not reading into the new rules too much. I don't think it's going to affect a hell of a lot. Gawn gets points all round the ground in all different ways, so there's that, and then on average they're meant to lose 3 stoppages a game or something with the last touch rule, so I don't expect it's going to impact them too much. But I can see the merit in people going for English and Luke Jackson and stuff, because the rucks can now jump in the centre bounce, but the centre bounce isn't the be all and end all. There's a lot more to it, and I feel like I went a year too early on him, but I can see Darcy Cameron doing really well with these rules. So I started him, for those who didn't watch the previous season, and yeah, I get the feeling it was a year too early or something. So I think he was 3rd or 4th for overall points. Let's see. So he was 3rd for overall points in the ruck. But the problem is, Gawn and Cherry outscored him at the start, and then Grundy went nuts. So he was never really top 3, even though he got the most points. So definitely that has kind of changed my philosophy a bit. But the good thing is, and I mentioned this before, I predicted it with those research videos. I had him right up there. So yeah, something to learn from, at least. But we'll get back to the rucks. So yeah, I'm going to go with White as an R3, because I like to have that loophole. And you'll see that it matches up later with a couple other things going on. Also saves some money, which is nice. But I guess, if Gawn goes down, who else is Melbourne going to put in the ruck? Yeah, I can't even name any of the other rucks, so we'll see. So I'll do the midfield now. And this is definitely a popular one. I see a lot of people skipping out on the Bont. He's got the buy now, and he's over 700k, so it's a tough ask. And I got no doubt that he'll probably do around this average again, like 125 to 130. But yeah, it's a lot to start. So I'm going to go with Butters as M1. And I guess this one's a bit of a pod. So M2, I'm very confident that Heeney is going to go back up to like top 5 mid. So priced under 600k, I reckon he's a steal. And if you look at last year, post-buy, he averaged 120 plus. So it kind of comes down to whether you think Sydney is going to improve a lot this year. So they had a lot of injuries in the first half of the year, but when they finally got their shit together in the second half of the year, Heeney scored really well. So when he got like Golden back and that to help him in the midfield. So, if Sydney, if they look like they're going to be a threat, and I think they are, if they can stay fit, I think Heeney's massive value, even at 593 or whatever he is. So, yep, I'm very confident on that one. He was probably my first pick, to be honest. Yeah, so this one's just, I think there's a little bit of value, but Sarong at M3. I think Fremantle will do better this year, and I think he'll score better. I can see him going like 110 or something. He's just ultra consistent as well, and he's not going to play anywhere else. Like, he's probably their most specialised midfielder, I'd say. So, yeah, I think that's all right. Sometimes you just got to pay up. You can't go for value all the time, or go for massive value. This one's another pod, I guess, but Coldwell for Essendon. If he can stay fit, obviously there is a lot of value in that price with the way he was scoring. It's just a matter of if he can stay fit. So we've got to wait and see how he goes this pre-season. It's only going to take like the smallest soft tissue injury to scare me off, and I won't be picking him. But for now, without looking into it too much, yeah, he's in, because he was one of the ones last year that I was kind of annoyed I didn't have when I could have got him cheap. And then this one, everyone's got him. So Hayden Young, M5. It's just the same thing with Young, and maybe you can't have Caldwell because you can't have too many of these injury-prone players, but we know Young can score well when he's in there. He kind of plays that defensive mid-role, and he gets a lot of CBAs. So Fremantle will have a nice and set starting three when they're together. I think at that price, it's a no-brainer as long as he can stay fit. And, you know, it's a bit of a theme with a lot of these players. But yeah, I think it's worth the gamble at that price. To be honest, I can also see people that fade him. You could get a real big leg up, because if he does get injured, he's definitely at a very awkward price there. So now to the rookies in the midfield, and yeah, again, I've not put a hell of a lot of research into this, but I don't even know how to say this guy's name. I hear people calling him Grill. I googled it and it said that his name was pronounced like Gurley or something. I don't know, but yeah, we'll just call him Grill for now. But he's in. He's got DPP, and you know, Richmond wouldn't be the hardest team to break into, I think. So it's a good chance he plays early. And then Jagger Smith, I think everyone's going to have him. Probably be like the most picked player in the game. It's pretty cruel what happened to him last year, so we don't really know what he can do, and if he's even going to be the same after that injury. So, and then Will Brodie. So Josh Carr obviously got him because he knows him from Fremantle, and it's just a matter of if he's going to play or not. Like, we know if he plays, from what we saw a couple of years ago, he should be able to score more than enough to make the decent coin that we need at that price. So, you know, just keep an eye on that, whether he plays or not, or whether he looks like he's going to play. Port's midfield, you know, Rosie's out of there now, so who they got? They got Horn Francis and Butters in there, Drew, Wines. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens with Wines and stuff. And then for the bench, we have Sharp. So Dyson Sharp from Essendon. He must be good, because the Crows were willing to move heaven and earth to try and get him, and Essendon turned it all down. So obviously very highly rated, and given Essendon's midfield issues, I would say I can see him getting early games and should score well, I think. Hopefully he's not going to miss out at the expense of Parrish or someone who's kind of washed up. I see people picking Parrish, and I don't know, it's just the injury thing with him is just off the charts compared to, say, Hayden Young or whoever. Just, yeah, I feel like the game's gone past those kind of players anyway. They're kind of out of favour. You think of like a Tom Mitchell or a Matt Crouch or whatever. I know Crouch retired and Mitchell didn't get picked up, but yeah, the game's really moved on. It's the new breed, like Callahan, these explosive players. So, yeah, Sharp should be alright. And then Rechko, I think is how you pronounce it. So Richmond traded to get him. So it's usually a pretty good sign that, you know, he must be somewhere in the frame for an early game there. And then Finn McRae. So he's got DPP. Surely if he's going to get a game anywhere, it would be at West Coast. The other one that you could look at there is Schonberg from the Crows. You know, there's been criticism of him and stuff, and he was never going to break back into that Crows team. But you look at where they are, they're opposite ends of the ladder. So, you know, Schonberg could quite easily, as a more mature body, because he is quite a thick-set dude, they could throw him in there, I guess. And, you know, 5 on the bench now, no sub. It's definitely more of a free hit for them. So, I don't know, keep an eye on Schonberg, but for now, I've got McRae in there. So onto the forward line. Everyone's got Sheasel. or at least everyone should have Sheasel. I think it's like a. Oh, what's happened there? I didn't click on the forward line. It's throwing him in flex. So yeah, Sheasel's like a free hit, really. Not often you get players that are so Supercoach friendly in the forward line. I suspect that's not going to be the case next year. As, yeah, he's starting to play more and more midfield, so he'll probably lose that DPP next season. That's a long way away. I don't know about this one. So F2, a lot to wait and see on this one as well. So, and that's obvious, it's still December. It's not even Christmas yet. So there's a lot to happen, but looking at Sam Draper, so if he's going to be solo ruck at Brisbane, yeah, that could be a good one. I don't think he's going to be like average like 110 or something, but if he could get in like high 90s or something like that, I'd take that for that price for sure. So I think it's about roughly what I paid for Thilthorpe at the start of last year, and then look where he ended up. So, and it was 97 average. So I'd take that again for sure. One big concern with Draper though is he going to have managed minutes to start with, and maybe they pair him with like Darcy Fort or someone. And then the other thing is, now that they're jumping more in the centre, is he going to be totally confident jumping after an Achilles injury? I don't know. For anyone listening, if you've ever done an Achilles injury, and I did, certainly jumping is like the thing that you're least confident with after you come back from it. Let me know in the comments what you think of that one for anyone that's had an Achilles injury. But yeah, there's definitely danger all over this pick. But he's going to the best team in the comp, and he's going to have a hell of a midfield to be tapping down to. So again, wait and see. I'm kind of disappointed that I keep saying that, but reality is it is December, so there is a lot to wait and see on. I also feel like last year though, there was very cookie cutter forward lines to begin with, and I think this year is going to be no different. Most are going to have some kind of combination of, Sheasel, some with Draper, Flanders, Petrarca, which I'm not currently going with Petrarca, but that could change. This is where it's interesting. Same as last year. If you can pick the right one to fade, you can get a hell of a leg up. Unfortunately, if you're dumb like me and you decided that it was Baz that you weren't going to start with last year to try and get that leg up on the forward line, because I was betting that he would fail. Big mistake. So you got to be careful, obviously. I think there's a lot of merit in actually just starting cookie cutter and staying with the pack, and then really trying to win it from there. I don't think you can win it with a starting team too much. Could be wrong though. I've never been close. So, Petrarca. The reason I'm not picking him is because if you have a look, he doesn't like the dewy conditions on the Gold Coast. As far as I know, he's got a pretty low average when playing in those conditions. So he's going to be there, every second week kind of thing. It's a bit of a worry as well. Tuke Miller, I think, he's still a lot better than people think. So Petrarca obviously is a better forward than Miller, Rao, and Anderson. So Petrarca's it makes sense that he's the one that's going to spend the most time forward out the four. But yeah, we'll see. And then F4. This one's a gamble, and again, a lot to wait and see. He needs to have a very clean preseason, but Treloar, we know what he can do when he plays, and even last year he had a couple of games and he turned up in the last one, and I think he got injured again after that. But, new year, new start. We've seen it with Yo before. They've only got to come in and give us 6 to 8 games, and that's fine. They serve their purpose. But, if you're into betting and stuff, Treloar at 300k, that's definitely a bet I'm willing to take. It's only 2 years ago that he was close to the highest averaging player, I think. Definitely top 10. Another one I'm definitely not confident on, and this is probably the one that I would fade, is Philippou. So he's just so injury prone, it's ridiculous. I wasn't impressed with him this year. It almost feels like that crazy run he went on at the end of 2024 might have been some kind of anomaly. If you look at St Kilda's midfield now as well, like, is he going to get that much time in there? Because we know that he needs to be in there to score. So you got Naz in there. Windhager will probably be in there. Who else? There's McRae. I don't see them, if they've loaded up and they want to make finals, I don't see them chucking McRae out of there to put Philippou in. If they are rebuilding, it would be a different story, but they're clearly not. So, yeah, I don't know on that one. I guess at his price, though, can definitely take the risk and should be fine. You can just downgrade him or whatever. So that forward line is all already looking quite cookie cutter and similar to other people on YouTube. And, if that's the best options, then so be it. You don't need to go against the grain, I think, unnecessarily, unless something actually stands out or you find something in the research, which, maybe we will, but haven't yet. And I haven't really done much yet, but I will, as I love that stuff. Yeah, F6. Another one, like, who knows? He might not even get games and stuff, but Devon Robertson. So again, they've paid up to get him. I don't know. It wasn't really a high price or anything, but they've traded. So they obviously rate him, and I know they're trying to get him for a couple of years. So Dev Robertson, I don't know. Again, it's like the Schomburg thing I was saying. Obviously, he couldn't get a game at Brisbane because Brisbane's got great midfield. It's understandable, so it's going to be hard to break into that team for a lot of players. But if he's going to get a go anywhere, it's going to be at West Coast. So, yeah, we'll see. I think maybe Tim Kelly's going to get phased out, so there's a spot. Right, so this one, it's another risky one. So Todd Marshall, and he's got horrible scoring history, but supposedly he's going to be playing in defence, so I can see him kind of playing that role that Finlayson played. Marshall is a very good mark of the ball, I think. So he could end up as an interceptor. That's probably why they're going to put him down there, which is kind of odd because I feel like their forward line is a little undermanned, unless they put Ratugolea up forward or something. But, I don't rate Ratugolea highly, so... I mean, Georgiades is up there. Who's the other one? Lukosius, if he's fit. I don't think Lukosius is that great as a full-time forward, so... Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. I don't know what they're planning to do. Maybe they're bringing one of the young lads through and they just go on the total reset, but... You look, Marshall down back could score well. If you look at how Finlayson did in a few games last year, and Port do have that really good run to begin with. Yeah, at that price, like, it's worth it. I think his job security would be good. It's just a matter of if he can actually score. And again, he's another one that's very injury prone. So that's the thing you got to remember, I think, with these players. There's a reason why they're so cheap. We see value, but it's only value if all's going well. And quite often with these players, it's not. So yeah, it's got to be a calculated risk. Final forward spot. Sid Draper. So yeah, as a Crows fan, I can see them giving him more time, especially with no sub now. He was a sub quite a few times. And yeah, when he played full games and stuff, he didn't score very well, but another full preseason. We know he's highly rated, and he did some really impressive stuff last year, I thought, at times, but he was more of a cameo player. So, second year in, I think there's a lot of opportunity in the Crows midfield because it's clearly our weakest line. Like, I think the Crows forward and back line are both really good. And that's the only reason why they're minor premiers. But, your midfield, it's got to be to a certain quality, and it wasn't. And that's why we got found out in the finals. So, yeah, I think they'll be looking for something different. And, Draper's already there. So, they couldn't get some of the trade targets they wanted. And to be honest, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, I think Clary wouldn't have been the right solution. So, yeah, Draper should get opportunity, I think. Yeah, think Dan Curtin, how he kind of He played, I think, yeah, he played in 2024 and he didn't set the world alight. He come back in his second year and still eligible for the Rising Star and nearly won it. So, yeah, I got a good feeling about Draper. And then, yeah, just the flex to go. So, not sold on this one either, as when he did play this year, he didn't score well at all, but he should get a fair bit of opportunity in the ruck, I think. So, it's Reedy. So, Carlton have obviously gone and got him from Fremantle, so you think they intend to play him, because all they've really got is Pito, and I don't think Pito's like a full-time first ruck caliber type player. So yeah, Reedy should get some opportunity there. A lot of people think it's bad to have a ruck in the flex. I don't think it's too bad, especially when you've got Draper up forward. You got White here, who's DPP, so there's a little bit of flexibility there. But also, probably for the first half of the year, you're not going to have like a primo in your flex unless you've got some either crazy luck or some crazy structure going on. The way I used my flex was basically like a rookie overflow. So it really doesn't matter that there's a ruck there. Like, you can kind of just Reedy's not a keeper, you would think. So once he's made his money, or you get sick of him, he's out, and you can put anyone in this spot. It doesn't have to be a ruck. So I don't get why people are so allergic to ruckman in the flex. Tell me in the comments though what you think personally about the flex and the ruck. But yeah, so back to the team. It's probably not, looking at this right now, it's probably not within the philosophy that I wanted to play with this year. I kind of wanted to go back to more of a guns and rookies kind of thing. The biggest thing for me is, a lot of the rounds are compromised, so you're only playing best 18. So it doesn't matter. Like, you want to pay up for the big dogs. And probably the value matters less, I think, with that in mind. So, there's no wrong answer, there's no right answer, but let me know what you think of this lineup in terms of that. I kind of feel like I haven't gone where I wanted to with it, but again, it's bloody December and I haven't put any research in yet. So yeah, this is basically a team based on vibes. So rip it apart, go for your life. I'm all for it. I want to hear why I shouldn't be picking these players. I'm definitely not one that sits here and preaches to others what they should be doing. So yeah, it's just interesting, I think. But yeah, really excited about this season, because no sub, and just getting stuck into those research videos again in the preseason. Like, I won't be knocking them out one every day again, but I'll be starting earlier this time. So yeah, should still be every couple of days or so. Take the pressure off a bit. One thing I am disappointed about with this season is, if you look, especially in the midfield, if you look at all the top players here from last year, take Butters out, they've all got that buy, the early buy. So it's an absolute pain in the ass. I'm so sick of, like, what have we got there? 7 of the top 10, I think, have got the buy. I just want to pick the best players. I don't want to have to be worrying about this shit year after year. Like, round 0, in my opinion, is a terrible idea. Just call it round 1 and we have 25 rounds instead. Like, I don't know, don't get me started on the AFL, but that's why, most of the reason why I really lost interest towards the end of last year, because it seems like whatever the fans want, or the fans enjoy, the AFL's like, nah, we'll do what we want, we'll educate you on what you want. So don't get me started. I'm going to go into a rant. There'll be plenty more opportunity for that later in the preseason and stuff, and I don't want this to become just like a general me talking about the AFL and Supercoach in general. It's more just meant to be, this first team. So I don't know. As I said, pick it to bits in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.